if Trump is truly the Bitcoin president, it does not make any sense to arrest Bitcoin Jesus. You're creating a Roman Jesus, rehash, and you can't crucify Jesus again. It's been done before. It didn't pan out well. I mean, I guess you got Christianity out of it, which is pretty based.
All right, thank you for doing this.
Pleasure.
We've
never met before.
Yeah.
This is weird. This is weird.
Usually the first question I usually ask is, what's your name and what do you do? But I already know who you are. You're Corbin Fraser.
That's me.
The CEO of Bitcoin.com.
Yeah.
And part-time lounge singer.
Yes. This is actually my game show t-shirt. I got to do the golden tickets videos later. So I really wanted to make it bling, make it pop, Yeah. So this is part of the scene. I'm setting the scene.
Good.
Yeah.
But for our audience, can you kind of tell us what do you do?
I guess I'm the CEO. I run Bitcoin.com. So I've been with Bitcoin.com since 2017. Started as a lowly dev peon and climbed my way up, and here I am running the show and get to hang out with cool guys like David and
so cool.
Daniel, the camera guy, and
not cool. That
all
guy's
these
not
other
cool.
guys. And hang out at conferences, promote Bitcoin, promote Bitcoin.com, promote our wallet, promote our news, just introduce more people to all the cool stuff we're doing.
How long have you been the CEO? How long is it?
A year and a couple months.
Yeah, that's
something like that.
Yeah. And how was that transition?
Complete
CEO?
chaos.
Yeah.
Complete chaos. I think the second month or third month, they arrested our shareholder. So that was like trial by fire. It's like, hey, welcome to the new role. And then you're like, oh, your sole shareholder has now been part of this whole choke point 2.0, caught up in the chaos of Biden. Welcome to hell. And like, all right, well, we'll figure it out. So it was fun. We're still eagerly waiting Roger to become free, but it's been fun. Yeah.
Are there any updates on that front?
I think they just bumped back there was some sort of hearing at a court that was scheduled for May, and for some reason it got bumped back to June. So I don't know, lawyers just being lawyers. Everything's slow. So I think he's just going to be stuck waiting until that. But, I'm optimistic. I feel like if Trump is truly the Bitcoin president, it does not make any sense to arrest Bitcoin Jesus. That you're creating a Roman Jesus, rehash, and you can't crucify Jesus again. It's been done before. It didn't pan out well. I mean, I guess you got Christianity out of it, which is pretty based. But we want to keep Roger free. So, yeah.
No, I hear you. And then the other big news that I know is that you and several of the executives have moved out to Dubai.
Yes.
Recently.
We are fellow Habibis. We are
Habibi.
We are Habibi. We are local. Hello, Habibi. Come to Dubai. We joined the Dubai cult. So we saw all of the exciting stuff happening with Dubai and crypto regulation. And, it's no surprise that Bitcoin.com would have a lot of trouble getting banked, both due to having just the name Bitcoin.com. You apply to any bank form with something like that, immediately red flags. Like, what is going on? What do you mean Bitcoin.com needs a bank account? What are they doing here? So you deal with like lawyers and regulators and compliance people, and they all say no. And then they do any due diligence, and it's like, oh, and Roger's in this rocky situation. Difficult. Yeah. Dubai, on the other hand, extremely welcoming. Their whole system is really trying to cater towards bringing more crypto innovators, builders, businesses, and just saying, we've got a framework, we've got a safe way to do this, and it's all by the book, it's all friendly, and they rolled out the red carpet for Bitcoin.com. So we saw it as a great opportunity to join the Dubai area and expand Bitcoin.com's reach into the MENA region. So we're now operating out of the DMCC Economic Free Zone, which is the commodities economics free zone. So they've got these different sections of economic free zones in Dubai that you can get registered in. And I implore like every crypto builder, if you're looking for that legal support, the frameworks, the stability, and some support from banking, Dubai is still ahead of the US, regardless of all the Trump rah of like, we're now a Bitcoin country. You can't just fly into the U.S. and be like, I'm setting up shop here, getting a bank tomorrow, ready to rock. But you can do that in Dubai. So
also, my previous interviewer reminded me that businesses still have some hesitancy because a lot of the changes that Trump implemented have been through executive orders.
yeah, they could be yoinked back.
I mean, yeah. What if Biden's cousin becomes the president next time?
Get Hunter. Hunter comes in and
Sure.
just sweeps the whole the whole system. Joins.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it could happen,
So,
man.
Yeah.
Weird things have happened.
But seriously though, there are risks there that businesses still have to factor in. So you moved to Dubai. Was there any consideration for like Abu Dhabi or other places?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we weren't just looking at Dubai. We were looking at Abu Dhabi. We were looking at Dubai. We looked even at El Salvador. We looked at, even some of these other economic free zones that are kind of sprouting up in different regions. But when you look at access to banking, access to support, kind of like the boots on the ground support in terms of like how much handholding are you going to get? Because like moving is a pain in the butt, and moving companies is a pain in the butt. And if you don't have those like local contacts that can kind of guide you through the red tape, there's red tape everywhere, including in the UAE. It just felt like the Dubai entities and the DMCC really made that process a lot easier. So yeah, they've got, shared co-working spaces, office space, all the legal frameworks, all the VARA support, any of the legal compliance stuff that you got to do to just stay above board. They'll make sure that you've got that clear checklist and support you along the way, just guiding you through that process. So we saw other ones, they didn't quite have that same level of like customer service, if you can call it that.
Oh, right. Oh, that's cool.
So I felt like the Dubai and the GMCC guys just kind of, they went above and beyond. Everyone else was like, hey, welcome, come to us if you want, But like there was active, just boots on the ground, really like welcoming us.
Yeah.
And I can't thank them enough. It's been really helpful for us.
Yeah.
And it's a big change for us coming out to the desert, coming out to this it's like we're plugging into the Matrix, right? Dubai is kind of it's strange. It's like I mean, how would you describe it?
I mean, it has been a very I guess children would feel differently because they don't really have the history, but you're like, oh, this is how a city would look.
Yes.
Right. This is how tall buildings usually are.
Yeah.
And then you come here and then it's just like flat desert and then suddenly gleaming towers. You're like, I can't quite.
It boggles the mind to see this like modern infrastructure just sprout out of the barren desert.
Yeah.
And then you've got all these like a mix of tourists and businesses, and like you'll be walking around the marina having coffee, talking about crypto with some like degenerate, and then you see some guy flying across a zip line screaming, "Oh!" And it's wild. You're just like, where am I? This is strange, but it's beautiful. It's like
it is.
Yeah, it's very strange.
All right. Bitcoin.com has several products.
Yeah.
I know I personally get this asked a lot. And I have to remind them I'm in my own little corner of Bitcoin.com.
For sure.
They're like, oh, you're at Bitcoin.com. And I'm like, news, Bitcoin.com news.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm the news guy.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, but Bitcoin.com. I'm like, news. I'm just Bitcoin.com. Could you just kind of briefly outline some of the products that Bitcoin.com has?
Sure.
I think there is a little, maybe not confusion is the right word, but people don't really know the umbrella category.
It's a wide umbrella. I mean, we've really kind of focused in, though, in the last few years, but I'd say the big core things are obviously the news media, which is like probably our biggest growing sector, thanks to guys like you and the hardworking team on the news team. So like,
thanks to me, but not people like cameraman Daniel. Liability.
Daniel, huge liability.
Yeah.
But news, big grower for us. We're extremely happy in terms of like just seeing all of the coverage we're getting, all the interview content, all that stuff. So big thank you to you guys for that. News, and then we've also got the self-custody wallet app, which is an iOS Android app. That's been around since 2017. We're one of the oldest Bitcoin wallets out there. We support Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, BNB Smart Chain, or the Binance Smart Chain, the Polygon Avalanche, all the tokens. We just launched Xano, which is our first privacy chain. We're excited about that. And we're really just trying to make crypto onboarding easier for the masses. Like, crypto's still, you go around here and it looks like we got our shit together. You got the whole, money being thrown around and people joining, but still a little bit tricky to, the average normie to come in and say, all right, I'm ready to buy my first Bitcoin and get me in. So we're trying to make that process as smooth and easy as possible with the self-custody wallet. The newest product that we're launching, kind of tangent to the self-custody wallet, is the Bitcoin.com account. So basically, we've got obviously this extremely valuable domain name, and we've productized it via the news, but we've never really captured the web traffic into an account. It's always been, hey, come grab the iOS Android app. But now with this new, it's the account, but it's still tied to self-custody. So any person can come to the Bitcoin.com website, log in, and using the exciting tech of MPC wallet tech infrastructure and passkey technology, you can essentially have this it's almost like a CEX-like onboarding, but it's entirely self-custody. We don't hold your assets, but you get that familiar experience for people coming in, to a typical exchange with none of the liabilities of what are we going to do with all the money that's deposited? Are we going to play funny games like FTX?
Yeah.
We don't even have the ability to do that. So getting people into the website, getting them into this account, and then letting them start buying and onboarding into crypto, that's kind of a big one that we're focusing on. And then we've also got our games and, directory and affiliates there. So primarily media sales, getting people onboarded into this whole area of being able to spend. So these types of companies that are all here throwing money around on booths, well, they also throw money around on ads and media partnerships. And, we've got a great website with great traffic where we've got fire hose of new users coming in every day because, normal people hear about Bitcoin on the news and they say, oh man, Bitcoin, I've always been meaning to buy that. And then they finally go to Google and type in Bitcoin and ta-da, they see us, and we can onboard them into the wallet or into the account. Or if they're just I don't know, I'm looking for the next 100x shitcoin, well, we might be promoting that or supporting that in some way via news and media sales and, explaining to them, the risks, but also the opportunities in some of the newer, exciting Web3 projects.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just to build on that, I think in crypto, this is going to change slowly, but the biggest problem is getting new users, right? It's a lot of PvP.
Totally.
And Bitcoin.com, that domain, really is one of the few funnels.
Yeah.
Not to use the lingo too much
Totally.
for people at home, but it's one of the few ways that new people find their way into crypto, right?
Yeah, you can buy users via Bitcoin.com. All of these people spending 50, 100, 250K on these booths. Very expensive booths. And not to talk down on that, but the ROI on a booth is typically not extremely high. You're not going to get 10,000 new users via just setting up a booth with cool neon lights.
There's no way.
It's great branding. It's great awareness. It's a great way to connect. But there's not a lot of places online where you can really spend money to get new users. Google doesn't want to touch crypto companies. So you can't go to Google AdSense and say, hey, I need some traffic. Anyone searching, I don't know, Bitcoin Bank or Web3 lending protocol. They're not going to find you via the ad. So you've got to build up your own website profile, which if you're a brand new project, it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Or you can partner with media companies like Bitcoin.com or other media sources like us that have this fire hose of people coming in, reading about crypto, reading about Bitcoin, reading about the latest projects, and then being introduced to your product.
Yeah.
So it's a more sustainable and easier way to kind of get your name out there than just spending huge money on booths that might give you, if you're lucky, 100, 200 users. Yeah, good luck.
Seriously, yeah. It is pretty wild. And again, when I walk around here, I don't want to talk down too much, but it's very much everybody already uses all these services.
Yeah.
Pretty much, we're already in this industry.
Yeah.
In general, having gone to conferences for 1 year, one thing that I would like to see, I don't know how possible it is, but all these conferences are designed for people like you and me.
Industry.
We're already here,
Yeah.
right? There's no
We already drank all the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm already all in, guys.
It's
I can't go more all in.
Yeah. The guy walked the floor and they're like, self-custody. I'm like, brother, I know. Don't worry about it.
We get it. Yeah.
But it would be, I don't, and maybe it's not possible at this moment, but conferences or a conference that actually kind of brings in new people.
Yeah, normies.
But yeah, I don't even know if that's possible.
Do normies go to conferences?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't been a normie in a while, but I don't know. I think most people are onboarded to products and services typically through TV, internet, social.
Yeah.
I don't know if the conference circuit is necessarily the best place for retail or like normies to come in and just like learn about products, because ticket costs aren't exactly cheap. Of course, I think there's alpha in being able to be a retail person coming into an industry event and like seeing where the trends are, for sure. But in terms of, the masses and the mass onboarding, I think it's going to be largely like web, probably some, boomer TV ads and stuff like that. But I think all of the gatekeepers of the current advertising industry, whether that's AdSense, Facebook ads, even X ads, companies have a very difficult time spending money. Crypto companies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, obviously you know that. Yeah,
they go through this, like, it is this silly song and dance with, you've got these LARPy regulators and compliance people that say, well, we can't possibly let you promote your Web3 product because we don't understand it. We don't see that you have all of the licenses that something like Coinbase has. So what if we're allowing you to support and promote something bad?
Yeah.
And they take this extreme, we're doing this in the service of safety for our users, but
they're just probably covering their asses.
Right? Of course. And it's just like, it's this legal charades of like, oh no, we're fine. But then on the other hand, it's like, HSBC, a normal bank, can come and run their ads on it. They're not laundering money for the Mexican cartel.
Yeah.
They never did that. They never did a $1 billion, little tasty launder.
No, you're wrong though. They didn't. They did it like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Was it HSBC that was the Mexican cartel?
Yes. Yeah. And it wasn't just once though. It really wasn't. It was like 2 or 3, something like that.
But they're allowed to advertise. So it's just this. It's a silly thing. I think the advertising industry will catch up with, I don't know, maybe the Trump, rah Bitcoin president. That could pave the way for advertisers to maybe, I don't know, allow more new entrants in, that it's not such a gated, you have to have your money transmitter licenses, your FIN license in the US before they'll even touch you or take your money. But there's got to be some sort of framework where crypto startups can access the same advertising tools that TradFi already has access to, or that incumbents like Coinbase, like Binance, like the guys who've already spent billions on legal and have a legal team to deal with that chaos. There's got to be ways for new entrants and startups to be able to access some of those same tools, or you're just going to have these incumbents grow more and more, and you'll see more really great ideas just fizzle out because they're not able to tap in.
Yeah.
So right now, a lot of the industry is stuck with just, come to Bitcoin.com. It's great for us.
Yeah.
But I would like to see that whole ad model change to support the new guys,
No, I mean, I get what you're saying and I agree with you, but then on the other side, I remember in 2017 when I joined, there were Google Sense ads that were just straight up scams.
Oh yeah.
Right. And some of my close friends, Graham, for example, I think he was led astray by this is on Google, click, lose all my money, lose the money for that kind of thing. So
totally.
I think they got burned pretty hard then. And now, so you're gonna have to find some way forward in that.
I tend to lean more on the optimist side, and I do think that, you've even seen this on X. There, two years ago, prior to Elon coming in and making it cool again, there was a lot of Elon Musk scams, Vitalik Buterin scams of Vitalik would send a tweet and then right after you'd had some extremely similar looking account with one character difference saying hey, I'm doing a new project, come spend your money here. And unfortunately, people would. I think they've gotten pretty good at being able to detect these things, largely thanks to these large language models and AI, that all of the scams are once you learn the pattern, you can protect people against the pattern. So I think AI is going to largely help reduce that possibility. There's always a chance, but this is where, anyone coming in with money, just obviously triple check everything, especially if you're in the self-custody model, because if you lose your crypto, there is no customer support. You can't call the bank and say, oh, I sent my money to a scammer. Can you block it and then send it back?
I sent my money to Brad Pitt, who's my best friend.
Brad Pitt messaged me and said he was in love with me. I thought we had a thing.
Now he's not returning my calls.
It's really weird. Do you have his number? Maybe I can call him, or you could get the money back for me. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. So.
Yeah. Not trying to make fun of these people because they are real people, but okay, I have 2 more questions for you. So The first thing is, it's kind of a leading question because you appear on Token Narratives sometimes.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. I know that you're, what's your feeling about where Bitcoin is now in this like kind of new Bitcoin ecosystem that's growing up around it? I know you kind of moved from one like area of skepticism to being more optimistic. Is that right?
Yeah. So I would say like I had this really, it was a horseshoe journey, right? Okay. I loved Bitcoin. I got into crypto because of Bitcoin. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I would pay my roommates with Bitcoin. Really? And it was just a fun thing to be like onboard, and they'd be like, oh yeah, we'd be talking about like,
You're such a nerd,
Oh,
man.
dude, it was so fun. Just like being able to talk about like government corruption, banks. Everyone hates their bank, and you start talking about this new internet money. They're like, so I don't have to like call a bank. I don't have to like, my money doesn't get frozen. I can send it to my family. It was great. Loved it. Scaling wars. Didn't really love it so much. Kind of became more of an altcoiner, you would say. Some might even say a shitcoiner. But I still I obviously watched Bitcoin. I still respect and love it at its core. It just didn't become the thing that I got onboarded to. And it's evolved into this digital gold narrative. And I think as my journey into the alts and seeing the alt market just underperform relative to Bitcoin, there is some value in a very boring coin like Bitcoin that is not doing the most innovative crypto stuff. However, so I have come around to saying, okay, Bitcoin's fine. Bitcoin's great. It still has this use case. I love the fact that there is this alternative hedge against the US dollar and perhaps an alternative savings vehicle that is still permissionless. You can still memorize 12 words in your brain, walk across a border with the middle finger up to the border guard with your entire life savings, and nobody can stop you.
Yeah.
I love the permissionless aspect of it and that whole thing. It's great. I do still have some concerns or worries in the long term for Bitcoin. I met with one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet in this space. It's a guy named Tyler Spalding. Okay. And he's doing some cool stuff with Anvil. You should, if you guys haven't checked out Anvil,
I haven't.
I'm going to plug them. But him and I were having a great conversation, and we like to talk about the potential, what are the doomsday scenarios for Bitcoin, right? Like, what are the absolute worst case scenario? What could happen? And we were talking about the quantum risk. And if you talk to anyone in computer science and any dev or any geek, they're going to say, yeah, at some point it's happening. It's either 3 years away, it's either 5 years away. Some are maybe more pessimistic. I don't know, 10, 20, who knows? Maybe it's not a big deal. But at some point, if and when that quantum risk were to happen and it breaks SHA-256R encryption, which is the hashing algorithm that verifies the blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain and allows us to do all of the Bitcoin mining and protects everyone's UTXOs across every wallet, the way the UTXO structure is built in Bitcoin, it does mean that quantum risk is more dangerous towards something like Bitcoin because everyone needs to upgrade. It's not just like, hey, we can do a quick little dirty soft fork and get away with it. This is like a network-wide upgrade that needs to reach consensus, which is extremely difficult in the Bitcoin community, as we've seen in the scaling wars, as we've seen with OP-CAT and OP-Return. And there's this new debate right now on should we open up OP-Return and let more data come in? And then there's other people saying, no, let's shrink the blocks even more. And it's just this like consensus is extremely hard to reach in the Bitcoin community because there's just not that... There's a lot of talking heads. There's a lot of people that control the repos that determine what gets merged in and what doesn't. And yeah, it's going to be a pain to make any major changes.
Yeah.
If we knew for certain that quantum risk was coming a year from now, we would be too late. If we knew for certain that quantum risk would be 3 years away, we would be too late.
Really?
I think so. I think it's largely tied to, and Tyler and I were talking on this, because everyone's going to need to upgrade their UTXOs. So unless the hard fork could be done in one way, where it's like you hard fork away, Bitcoin now has Bitcoin Quantum.
Yeah.
All of the old coins are dead.
Yeah.
Everyone gets new coins somehow.
Yeah.
Using some cryptographic way to claim your new upgraded Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Or what would happen is they would do some sort of like a softish hard fork where there's going to still have to be this upgrade on the protocol, but everyone as a user is going to have to upgrade their coins. Now that means if users don't upgrade in time before the quantum risk, the AI or the quantum nerds are going to come in and slurp up all those UTXOs that are not protected, and your Bitcoin is gone. So this is kind of like the doomsday scenario. I don't know for sure if it'll happen, but I like to posture on like what could happen, right? Yeah. And if they don't upgrade in time, which, of course, in order to upgrade, you would have to do an on-chain transaction. Now, can the entire network upgrade every UTXO across this entire network in 3 years' time? I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
So it could be that you need quantum risk to be more than a few years away, because you need this gradual, slow UTXO upgrade for people to run, or you've got to get the entire Bitcoin community on some sort of upgrade path to like do this. Now, I am not a core developer. I am not a protocol developer, but I do know that that could be a risk, and it's going to be a very difficult one to do if the block size is still extremely small. You can only get so many upgraded UTXOs.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So there could be this like
so there's a hard limit. There's a hard limit.
Yeah, that mempool could get filled up in the future by tons of people waiting to upgrade their UTXOs and trying to outbid and outcompete each other to upgrade their UTXOs before the big dick of AI quantum attack comes in and hits you over the head.
I should talk to this guy, I guess. Yeah.
Tyler Spalding, he's a total uber nerd, but he's like one of the smartest and funnest guys to talk to.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last question: what are you excited about? I actually haven't heard from you recently, so I just want to know: are you excited about anything right now in crypto?
Good question. Man, I seesaw so much. One day I'll be like, I love everything, and then another day I'll be like,
Where in the seesaw are you today?
You know, walking around the Token 2049 Dubai, I think it's easier to become like the optimist. People are building. There's lots of stuff. There's lots of incredible dev teams doing cool stuff. I think there's going to be a big mad rush towards Bitcoin lending and borrowing. I think the access to that is becoming easier, and the people now that are accumulating more and more Bitcoin, they have more reason not to sell by simply the fact that the tax codes are not going to update anytime soon. I mean, they could update, but it's going to take, similar to this consensus problem in Bitcoin, you got to get consensus amongst all these different teams and people and different governments. And it's just the slow grind of the machine and the amoebus blob of government. It moves at a snail's pace. So it's not like Bitcoin taxes are going to just become instantly clear overnight in the US or in different regions that currently it's already are still confusing. So I think there's going to be more and more demand for people to be able to borrow against their assets in a self-custodial manner where they're not sending their money to an exchange to hold and then borrow. It's basically like lock up your UTXOs, or it's lock up the wrapped Bitcoin or the CBBTC or the STETH or the ETH, and being able to borrow against your crypto assets or your Bitcoin assets, and then using that to actually sell without selling and having a taxable event. I think there's going to be a lot more people trying to plan that, especially going into a bull market where, I mean, I'm still optimistic here. I think we've got 6 months, maybe a year of bullish trend here, especially if Bitcoin presidencies continue to emerge and, you know, the king of Bhutan is still buying more Bitcoin and Saudi Arabia is being like, we might be accumulating more.
Yeah, we might be Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, exactly.
Mining Bitcoin.
So I think that hyper-competitive nature of more and more people coming into Bitcoin is going to drive more and more demand into buying it for retail. And then as the price goes up as a result of all of these different nation states trying to outbid and play chicken and beat each other to the punch and get cheaper Bitcoin, that you're going to have people naturally making money off of this. And they're going to be a little bit scared to sell to have that taxable event, and it's extremely confusing and difficult to do. So sometimes the easier thing might just be to borrow against the value, especially if you're zooming out from the like a holding aspect. If you're holding for the long term, a 10, 20, or like I'm buying crypto for my kids and I'm buying Bitcoin for this like generational wealth.
Right.
You might not be looking so much at like the day trading value, but you're like, okay, I could borrow against it right now. It's fine. I can get access to some capital to, you know, my car engine's been completely messed up. I got to get it fixed up. The mechanic's going to charge me a arm and a leg, but whatever, you know, I got my Bitcoin. I don't have to sell my Bitcoin. I'm just going to borrow against it. And it kind of allows anyone to run their own MicroStrategy, which I think is going to become more popular if the MicroStrategy continues to grow, more companies adopt it, more people start understanding it, they're going to say, well, why can't I do that? And I think that's where the lending borrowing protocols start looking interesting. And that is why a little alpha here, Bitcoin.com, is looking into this from a integration product perspective. Might be something Bitcoin.com could offer. And we're looking at it from like how great would it be if you could get a mortgage from Bitcoin.com with your Bitcoin?
Right, yeah.
And it's like right now, if you want to use your Bitcoin to like get a house, it's very difficult. You can't go to a bank and be like, hey, I got Bitcoin. You can trust me, bro. But using some of the extremely cool stuff on like, whether it's like smart contracts or whether it's more on the UTXO script language, being able to lock up your funds, but letting someone be able to claim them in the event that you default.
As collateral, right?
Yeah, it's great. There's like cool ways to do this without the permission of the bank and then having to do that. Like if you've ever applied for a mortgage or something like that.
I have.
It's terrible.
And I was rejected.
How did it go? You were rejected? Yeah.
No, that's because I live in the country. They saw my visa and they're like, get out of here.
Yeah, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's very intrusive. They look at like your income. They look at your past. They look at, your loan to value risk. How much can you pay off? Is this like a comfortable debt for you? How much more money do you make? They don't count your crypto magic internet money.
No, they don't at all.
They're just like, well, how many dollars have you got? It's like, you mean like stable coins? Like, no. We mean like boring dollars that are
real money.
Yeah, that are earning 0.1% interest in our extremely lucrative checkings account. It's like, so like none. I don't have that much. Because if you're all in on this silly game of Bitcoin and crypto, most people are like, I'd rather be in USDC or USDT earning some yield. So I think there's going to be more and more opportunities for Bitcoin.com and for other companies to get into that self-custody, lend, borrow aspect and just make things easier for people, make it affordable, make it convenient. And then it's like, you might not even need to go to some of these banks or it just becomes something that you can do if you have that beautiful work history and that, a long credit history that says, oh, you're such a good boy. You've got all the good boy points that let us give you the mortgage. Or you can be like a crypto degenerate who's got, big bags and you're like, I'll just borrow against those.
Yeah.
Lock down a house.
Yeah. I mean, this makes a lot of sense to me. I've talked with several people who work in like Bitcoin mining, for example, or are doing Bitcoin side chains, L2s.
Yeah.
And they see like spot ETFs and some of these corporate strategy kind of things. They basically see them. I thought this was a great idea as Bitcoin wrappers. They're like no different in their eyes to like a WBTC or any wrapper.
Totally.
But they're much better because you can get yield on them.
Exactly.
You can use them as collateral.
Yeah.
And
the banks treat them like money, even though it's Bitcoin-ish.
Yeah. So you probably, I think there is going to be like a strong competition here.
Yeah.
And hopefully DeFi and the more crypto native side will win out.
I think the other thing I'm very bullish on is more Bitcoin being deployed into more chains. Seeing Bitcoin deploy, I mean, WBTC kind of paved the way, but there's been other newer, more user-friendly, let's say, wrapped Bitcoins. The one that we've been using in our wallet app quite a bit has been TBTC, which is by the team Threshold DAO. Threshold, they're like basically allowing anyone with Bitcoin to lock up their funds, and then they issue a wrapped Bitcoin called TBTC. It's available on Ethereum and Arbitrum and Polygon and a whole bunch of chains. And what's cool is you can actually unwrap it as well. Whereas like with WBTC, for the average user, you basically have to swap into WBTC, but you can't, it's very difficult for a normal, ordinary Joe to take his like 0.01 BTC and then be like, okay, I want to use it, but I want to use it for yield. But they're locking it up into these like threshold multi-sig. And it essentially gives them that confidence and security to issue that one-to-one peg. You've got proof of reserves and the fact that you can unmint it anytime. So if at some reason you're like, I don't trust this team anymore, get me my OG UTXOs back. You can go through the withdrawal process, pay a little bit on ETH gas, and ta-da, you get your BTC back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think more and more Bitcoin is going to become bridged to these other assets because even though Bitcoin might not be doing the most like exciting things on chain from like smart contract development and things like that, the the value that I think a lot of these chains want is they want exposure to the BTC asset. Because when you look around at the market, especially in the last 6 months, you know, Fartcoin went down. It went to like $1.50 to like 20 cents.
Hasn't it gone up recently? Though?
It's back to $1.15, man. Yeah, me and some of the Fartcoin enthusiasts have unfortunately been like, no, we sold the bottom. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, the whole alts, the meme cycles, it's just been relative to Bitcoin. The exposure has been tumultuous.
Yeah.
People have gotten wrecked just trading random garbage. And sometimes just having some exposure, but that easy access to liquidity, that easy access to swapping in and out from Bitcoin to stablecoins without having to deposit to a CEX, waiting, whatever, 15, 20, 30 confirmations before you can trade, and then trading, and then being like, all right, I guess, should I withdraw? Okay, I gotta wait another 15, 20 confirmations to get it back.
Yeah.
And then you're just this, yeah, so I think like that access to liquidity, the access to swapping, and then the access to yield where you can potentially deploy things like you can take a WBTC token and a TBTC token, deploy it onto a DEX market making contract, and then earn fees off just the arbitrage bots moving in and trading these price differences between these two different versions of Bitcoin on ETH.
Yep.
And now we're seeing some interesting stuff happen too with Xano, where there's a Xano team building on the Xano privacy blockchain, and they're launching Bitcoin on a privacy blockchain.
Oh, nice.
Which is
the confidential asset.
Exactly.
Bitcoin.
So there's this company called Confidential Layer. They're launching Bitcoin on Xano as a token. But what's cool about the tokens on Xano is they inherit all of the privacy of the base chain. So Xano is a privacy token. And now any token, including you could even launch a stable coin on a Xano blockchain, and you have a stable private coin. But now these guys are going to have a private Bitcoin where you're using an alternative blockchain to do it, but you've got asset exposure to Bitcoin. So you don't have to be into Xano, the coin, but you can like the privacy and the tech and still have your Bitcoin exposure.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see more and more people just like exploring these like derivative Bitcoin products. And I think the tech has gotten to a point where you can de-risk it to a point where it's not the most terrifying thing to do. Previously, I would say, there was always this like worry with, who holds the keys to the Bitcoin, but there's ways to de-risk it. There's, some new innovations happening on the Bitcoin layer with BitVM2 and some of these other ways to lock up funds and make sure that you've got this like safe, secure way to get those assets bridged into an EVM chain. So I think we're going to see more and more development there. I'm optimistic that we're going to see more Bitcoin on ETH and more Bitcoin on these EVMs and more Bitcoin on Bitcoin L2s. But it's all going to be happening over the next few years.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it all goes. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this.
David,
tell the audience where you're going to be singing tonight.
I'll be singing at the Dubai Karaoke Lounge, a little Elvis. Maybe a little Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh, wow, nice.
Hitting those high octaves, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, David.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
And we're out.